Welcome to iBoxingHub. Remember, if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. I go by the name of Biyenge, featuring yours Truly Tre. Good to have you back, cuz.
Yes, cuz it's obviously good to be back as well. Big up to the family, big up to the people. Obviously, Malik saying, "Where's the link?" The link's been sent over to you, my brother. But cuz it's obviously good to be back. No D-Rock. I'm wearing Congo today, so Bakole did a tremendous thing yesterday, man. So I had to, as a brother, as a fellow Congolese, represent. And I'm just glad to be back. I'm back even a week ahead. I wasn't supposed to be back until next week, but because we had a tremendous event, obviously I had to, just come through and just have my part and have my say as well, man. But before we get started, cuz obviously big up to Neutral yesterday. He obviously did the live watch along with he done it with Alexander the Great as well. It was a really good show, marathon, 5 hours, great shift as well. And obviously, big up to the whole of the family, doing a tremendous job. And cuz we obviously have to big up D-Rock as well. I'm gonna obviously play the video that obviously promotes D-Rock as well. So big up to D-Rock. Yes, obviously big up to D-Rock, and you've seen as well, just take advantage of the discount code, which is 40% off. All you got to do is just type in iBoxingHub24 to get 40% off. But cuz obviously we've got a guest as well. He's a tremendous boxing mind, of course. The Twitter world calls him Leak the Geek, but I just call him Mr. Genius anyway, man. So big up to him, my brother.
What's going on?
How's it going? How's it going, bro? You good?
What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Like I just like to be talking about boxing, man. At the end of the day, man. I'm always a student of the situation, and one thing I will say is that as soon as I stepped into being a fan of a person instead of being a fan of boxing, I was wrong about a whole bunch of things on this card, man. So let me go ahead and just eat the crow and be humble.
Yeah,
I gotta be humble with some things, man.
Of course. Now, big up to you. How's the weather where you are anyway, man? Is it all right?
Hey, man, the weather's looking nice right now. I know right now on the East Coast of the United States, they're going through some storms. Right now, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Chicago. It's hot. We got Lollapalooza going on right now. A lot of concerts. Summertime Shy, bro. If you guys ever I do a lot of traveling, man. And but if you guys ever are out in the States, man, come out to Chicago, man. Come out to the gym over here on the north side, Trenches Boxing, and also this Summertime Shy, man. Ain't nothing like it, dog.
Yeah, no, obviously big up to you. Obviously, I just want to run through a few of the comments before we get into the, breaking down of Rider season, because it was a tremendous card, of course. Thunder Roads obviously say no intro music. No, obviously we're gonna give that to you at the end. Don't worry, just a few technical issues on the back end. Jams is obviously saying big up Biyenge and Tre. Good to see you back, bro. And big up to Malik. Big up to you as well, Jams. Doing a tremendous job on your end. Cuz obviously, I'm going to hand it over to you, of course. We obviously had the big card yesterday, Crawford versus Madrimov. It was Rider season, first time in the US, of course. And we obviously had a few good cards, good fights. And with you lads, obviously want to talk about, the experience and the vibes, man. So, cuz, start us off, man.
Yeah, do you know what? I literally, I woke up during Bakole and what's his name? Anderson's fight. Yeah. So Malik, the floor is yours. I mean, look, I'll just jump on. You tell us your thoughts, etc.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of crackling on your end, Malik. I don't know what's going on. So maybe. Yep, you good? Yep. So come back again. Yep, you're mute. Eyes on mute. It's cool, cuz, man. So obviously, Neutral saying weekly roundup team. Obviously, big up to you, Neutral, cuz. Obviously, Malik's gonna come back. But
listen, boy. Boy, oh boy, I just want to go straight. I missed a few fights in it, so I can only speak about the fights that I witnessed. I don't know unless you want to start from the very beginning.
Yeah. Obviously, I could start us off, man.
Go
Obviously,
on, go on.
big up, Andy. Oh, he's just for me, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about him, man, but I think he's a tremendous talent. Leak the Geek is back. Yes, brother. Take yourself on mute and let's see if it's better.
Is everything better now?
Sounds perfect, man. So,
hey, man, I apologize for that, man. You were just getting ready to get started. Let me go back and get muted, man.
Nah, my
cool. The floor is yours.
We're saying the floor is yours, man. We want you to start us off, man.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So, first things first, man. I gotta pull the Shaq and say, Martin Bakole, if you out there listening, man, I wasn't familiar with your game, brother. I wasn't familiar with your game. I got on here and told these fans about how nobody in the States knew about you. And I'm going to just say what it was, bro. My girlfriend is texting me from Connecticut talking about, hey, I got a new favorite heavyweight fighter. And it's this Martin Bakole guy. Because because literally I posted it on my Twitter. She said she had Jared. She said that he had Jared Anderson needing a chiropractor, brother. So I was like, all right, man, this guy is definitely he did exactly what he needed to do. You know, I knew that he was considered to be the sparring heavyweight champion out there, right? He has all these stories going about him, and I want to say that, you know, it was reminiscent of George Foreman as far as like his punching power. And I will say he needs to get credit for being the veteran in the sense of having that cerebral, like really setting Jared Anderson up, right? Jared Anderson, like people right now in the States are talking about, because you know, and I'm a victim of it. You want to be patriotic to a certain extent, right? You want to believe in Jared Anderson, but people in the States are trying to say that, you know, Jared Anderson should have moved more. No. Bakole looked like it was just a bad matchup. He's just way too big. He made Jared Anderson look like a cruiserweight over there, and he set him up. And so I want to first and foremost start off with Martin Bakole. You deserve all the credit for that win, man. Big up to you for that one, brother.
Big up to Bakole. Obviously, myself and Biyenge were both from Congo. That's why I'm wearing the Congo national top.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
So, you know, I haven't
had the opportunity. I haven't had the opportunity yet. I've been as close as Rwanda, and I've been to Tanzania and South Africa, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. One day I'm gonna get out there, man.
Yeah, no, come through to Congo, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, of course, man. But I'm just happy that, you know, from an outsider, you've just explained that was the first time really getting to see Bakole, and look, he's just done a tremendous job on your end. Cuz you obviously wanted to get down to business and talk about Bakole, man. That's our brother right there, man.
I told everyone from the get-go, Bakole is going to be a problem. I told everyone. I said, look, he from when he said he's giving people problems in sparring session, nobody wants to fight him. Yesterday's event, yeah, his stock has gone up now. His stock has gone up. So in theory, where's you rank now in the WBA, IBF, and WBO? He's ranked highly now. He's top 10. He's somewhere there. So it'll be interesting just to see, you know who he fights next, because there's 3 people in mind I've got that he can potentially fight. Because at the moment, obviously the belts are tied up. You know, you've got AJ fighting Triple D. You've got Usyk and Fury. So how about on Usyk Fury's undercard, he can fight either Zhang, Joseph Parker, or Dillian White.
Ooh, I'm gonna throw that over to you, Leak the Geek, bro. If you were his manager,
so for me,
who'd you choose?
Okay, go ahead.
Who'd you choose if you were?
I think that, you know, I mean, for me, I would go ahead and wait on the AJ Dubois winner, or not winner, but loser. Whoever loses that match, I'd like to see with Martin Bakole. I think that from what I was able to see, man, I think he's ready for a title shot, man. I think he deserves it. But outside of that, then if you can't get that, you just want to keep him active, which is a great strategy. I will go with Zhang for sure. Why? Because Zhang has a whole country behind him. You can continue to get more exposure, right? He's also a very hard puncher. They have kind of similar in the back, somebody being older, or as far as being a veteran, hard punchers. We can see a real bake 'em out show. But yeah, I for sure think that he deserves, even after Zhang, the loser of the AJ Dubois, and then go ahead and get him. He should be right in the title mix, man. Why not? You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Let's run through some of the comments, of course. Big up to Aisha, Green Diamond Boxing, doing a tremendous job as per usual as well. Big up to FK Breeze, who's obviously saying Dylan White, no interest in the heavyweight scene right now. Obviously, Ra, sorry, he's obviously saying, why did you approach my new BFF Malik? Now, Malik wanted to join us, man. We couldn't say wrong. We couldn't obviously stop him from joining us, man. And appreciate you, Thunder Road. So obviously they're giving Neutral a big up because he done the marathon yesterday. He actually done. I think we done the 5 hours of the watch along. So from 3 a.m. our time to about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, man. Here we obviously done the shift for the community, man. So yeah, big up, man. But cuz obviously Leak the Geek is obviously saying Zhang, you're going Dylan White. I don't even know what I'll go for, man. What you say?
For me, reason why I say Dylan White, because they've got, you know, some sort of unfinished business there, because they clashed at one event. I'm not too sure which event it was, and not just that, because Dylan White, you know, previously he was a pay-per-view fighter. Do you know what I mean? So I think that it will do serious numbers, or it'll be a big payday for Bakole. So it's just because Dylan, you got to think this way. I want Bakole to be active. Dylan has been on a ban. He's had one fight, and he needs another fight. You know, and I think, you know, if they put them to under Fury and Usyk's undercard, it'll be amazing, because my understanding, Zhang, he could potentially be fighting, I don't know, Parker again, because I'm sure there was a rematch clause.
Ooh, look here. Look, Bakole versus Hunter 2 for the vacant WBA title. That could be an interesting one. Guys, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, I think it's a bit unfair, if I'm honest with you, because, like, look, somebody, Michael Hunter, don't get me wrong, no disrespect him, but what's he done recently? Do you know what I mean? It's fair for somebody else, like, I don't know. Let's just say, for example, somebody who's been active. Do you know what I mean? Somebody who's been active, you know, and somebody who deserves that shot. Because I get it, you know, Michael Hunter wants to fight him now, but it's just like, I believe I would like to see him and Michael Hunter later on. Maybe perhaps if Bakole was to lose a fight, maybe, you know, he can fight Michael Hunter.
Yeah, I agree with you, cuz, man. Well, yeah, what you saying, Leak the Geek, man?
No, I have nothing. Sometimes there's nothing to add. I 100% agree with what my brother was just talking about. I think from my point of view is that when I see somebody put on a performance of a lifetime in front of the crowd that you need to be able to put it in front of, I want to see them have nothing more but opportunities, because I know how much goes into boxing and how much they sacrifice. And for everything to come together like that, that means that, you know, there's a reason. This is because he put in the training. It's because he was in the right place in the right time with the right preparation. So I want to see him be. That's why I lean in on Zhang, because, or Zhang, or like I said, the Dubois or AJ loser, because I want to see him be able to take it to the next level and get the exposure and get the money that he rightfully deserves.
Wow, yeah, no, that is just, it's absolutely powerful. And look, I'm just happy that we're all, you know, the next day having this conversation, because you know, we've seen situations where when fighters have had their opportunity at a big stage, they've not performed. It's gone to the judges. They've obviously gone for the home fighter in this situation. It's like, but Bakole literally just said from the get-go, I like to look at a lot of things like body language, psychology before fights, and, you know, Jared Anderson,
the body language was getting me so hyped up. Hyped up before the fight, man. That stare down, and like how he, like when I remember saying this, not maybe not on this one. I think I was on Raj's, and I remember saying that I saw the stare down between Anderson and Bakole, and I saw Anderson. I was looking at him. I said, all right, he looks confident. Everything's fine. But Bakole went right up to him and got his stomach right on him. Put his stomach right on him, and it just kind of little manned him. And I was like, oh, no, don't let him little man. But then it's like he had that confidence. And I was just like, you know, sometimes you have to, you know, because body language is very primal. So you can't teach that, but you have to be able to show it. So for him to have that body language, to be that calm, cool, and collected, and then deliver the way that he delivered, I was like, all right, this guy, he can't be denied, man. And I feel like he has the charisma to be a star if he can continue to perform.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he's obviously taking those titles back to Congo as well. The president's going to, you know, bless him handsomely, of course, man. So, yeah, look, Raz obviously saying, how long, if ever, does it take for Jared to recover? Let me actually start off with that. I think, look, Jared Anderson's young. This was a good experience for him. I think he obviously took Martin Bakole lightly, because when they asked him a few times about the opponent, he kind of said the response of, "Oh, my team put him forward, and whoever they put forward, I'm ready." So for me, that kind of smells that he didn't really prepare for this kind of fight. I don't think he expected Bakole to come with that kind of performance, man. So for me, he'll come back, he'll bounce back stronger, and it kind of leads me over to obviously the who's next. And I'm thinking about, you got to put the big babies together, man. Like, you've got to put the big babies together. Battle of the big babies. Whoever wins or whoever loses has to remove Big Baby from their name. That, I would love that as a theme. But lads, you just let me know what you're saying.
Boy, do you know what? It'll be interesting just to see, what he does, who he fights next. I don't think he'll fight Big Baby Miller next. I don't think he would. I think he probably needs a warm-up fight, build back on his confidence, because that was the first time, he got dropped onto the canvas. Do you know what I mean? Was it 3 times or 4 times? Like, literally, it was horrible. He's never experienced that before.
Never.
Look, round 1, he was in shock. Round 1. And then round 5, my goodness, he took a beating. He took a beating. So, I mean, look, I think, look, it's his choice. He could either, right, have a rematch or have a warm-up and then decide whether or not if he wants to fight Baby Miller or Martin Bakole again.
Yeah, what you saying, Leap the Geek, man? Are you putting him in with Big Baby?
So, I do think that, I mean, I agree. I mean, honestly, there's just so many things with that, right? So I try to be an independent thinker, right, and think for myself. But there's been this narrative in the States, right? And I'm on record saying that we haven't believed in Jared Anderson because we didn't believe that he was in boxing, that he truly loved boxing, right? That's been a narrative. His mental health stuff and his stuff that's going on outside of the ring is one thing, but you get the idea that he's literally just being explicit. Like, look, I'm in it for the money, and that's it. And if you're going to be an undersized heavyweight the way that he is, we gotta look at somebody like Evander Holyfield, right, who we know loves fighting, right? And if you don't have that heart, and again, and big ups to him for taking that beating. It takes a man to take a beating the way that he took that beating. So big ups to that. Like, I don't bash people because they lost. It's more of like, because of this narrative, I can only go off what I see. And I don't know if, so there's that piece, right? I don't know if he'll be able to recover from this at that weight, because Bakole was not only smarter, but he was just too big. And it almost makes me say maybe he just needs to go down to cruiserweight or I don't know. Like, I'm just not sure when it comes to him. Like, obviously the idea should be that you get a nice little warm-up fight and then you move up. But I don't know. Maybe he just cashes out with the Big Baby fight. Maybe there's still a little bit of spark behind that, because there's going to be a whole bunch of talking back and forth, and he gets out of there. Boxing's a brutal sport, man, and usually people want to bank like drag on people when they lose. But I don't know about Jared Anderson, man. I just don't believe in him. I don't think he's in it for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah, nice. I agree with you, and it kind of leads me over to some of the points that people are making here. Of course, obviously, Neutral, big up to Neutral, doing a tremendous job yesterday. He's obviously saying he's holding his thoughts until Hard Talk UFC. You're obviously going to see Leak the Geek there as well. And he's just warning people in advance that he's got some home truths that he's going to obviously share on that show. And yeah, that's obviously going to be interesting. And FK Breeze, I think you just answered the question for him. He's saying, does he really have the love for boxing ever since that Roy Jones video? That kind of revealed a lot as well.
Yeah, but with the Roy Jones video or not, right? That's what's in his heart, and I'm not mad. Boxers have been taken advantage of and exploited throughout the whole history of boxing, right? We could take this all the way back to like this. That's just how it is. Boxers have always been the uneducated, lower of the rung on society people, right? And they've been exploited for that. There's a huge piece of that. That's why I'm always for boxers having autonomy over their career and doing what's best for them, and especially getting out before they have any type of mental or mind issues. So with all of that being considered, he needs to look at his career and figure out if he really wants to be being in this, because otherwise he's going to be hurt. they're only going to get better after Bakole. You know what I mean? And so he could end up really getting hurt. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, man, this is absolutely crazy, and it's interesting as well. It kind of leads me over to obviously the next fight as well, which is and also a heavyweight fight that a lot of people was a bit questionable about the result as well. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus the other big baby Miller. He obviously, you saw what happened. It was a draw, but you kind of seen two mixed views here. A lot of people, like myself, I thought, Miller did enough to get the victory. But guys, I want to get you guys' thoughts. Was the draw fair or was it unjustified?
Unfair, man. Because look, the first 5 rounds, I give it to Andy Ruiz. He was quick, he was fast. And bear in mind, remember, he's been inactive for over 2 years. Miller, you can see Miller apply the pressure. He applied so much pressure on Andrew Ruiz because Andrew Ruiz kept on slowing down. And I suppose a draw is fair on for both of them because it's like it's kind of saved their career, if you know what I mean. Because if we had a loser, it's like, ooh, it's a wrap. Because Andrew Ruiz is saying, because what, did he break his hand or what did he do?
Yeah,
he does have two hands. So he's saying like, look, let's run it back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He definitely broke his hand.
So like, yeah, they can run it back, yeah, but Miller ain't gonna wait for him now. Miller needs to be active. Do you know what I mean? So if anything, I would like to see them run it back again later on, maybe mid 2025. But for me, I honestly think I saw a different side to Miller. Like literally, he said he wasn't eating no cheeseburgers, wasn't drinking no fizzy drinks. You know what I'm saying? He was really focused, and you can tell like Miller meant business, and he should have got the victory. Everyone there knew he should have got the victory. But hey, look, the way I see it, they live to fight for another day, and by it being a draw, their careers got saved. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, FK Breeze is calling for Miller versus Bakole. Leak the gate. Just let's see, bro. Let's see what you're saying, bro. I want to see what your thoughts are.
So I remember getting on camera saying, you know what, Andy Ruiz is gonna come in. He's gonna be in shape. He's gonna do his thing. And then I'm watching the fight, the first 4 rounds. I'm like, see, he's too fast. He's doing his thing. And then so while I'm watching it, not knowing he messed up his hand, I'm thinking, why is his production going down so much, right? I'm like, what's going on? And then by the time you get to like the 6th round, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just out of shape. He's just out of shape. That's just what it is. And he's tired and like, he's barely scratching these rounds. With his hand being broken down, I do think, and I don't try to make excuses for fighters. I'm not a huge Andy Ruiz fan. It's just that obviously you break your hand and you're fighting through adversity, right? And you're supposed to train and, you can figure it out. So I do think that fight goes differently if Andy Ruiz doesn't break his hand. But on the flip side for Miller, if Miller would have won that fight, then I would have been okay with that, absolutely. But if I look at the fight and I see him going forward, he was going forward the whole time. Was he using the jab? Was he breaking down Andy Ruiz as much as it feels like at the end of the fight, he felt like he still had a lot in the tank. And that's something that I don't necessarily appreciate. It's like, man, like you don't have that many, you're not busted up that much. You don't look like you're that tired. And so I think that Miller ultimately only has himself to blame for that draw. Am I happy with the draw? Yes, because I feel like Miller could have just did a little bit more to actually edge it out, man. I'm okay with the draw, because I think about it, 12 rounds. I know for sure Andy Ruiz, I felt like got the first 4. Could you argue for Andy Ruiz getting at least 2 more? Sure. And then, I'm okay with that. So, but for the people on the Miller side saying that he was robbed, I get it. I understand. But, I got to kind of be a little bit more objective with that. I think Miller could have did a little bit more.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I agree with you. Definitely. I think that Miller, you could see that was the game plan. You could see that was the game plan. Obviously, they know each other well. They're quite familiar with each other. So I kind of thought from the outside looking in that Miller wanted to take him into deep waters, which he did. But you can't really deploy those tactics when you've got 10 rounds. That's the problem with that. So I agree with you, Leak the Geek, in the sense that he could have stepped it up more to get the result.
Wait, that was a 12-round fight, not a 10-round fight, right?
It was a 10 rounder.
No, 12 round. 12
No,
round.
Anderson
Was it
and
12?
Bakole was 10. And,
Oh
and
yes,
Andy
you're right.
Ruiz.
Yeah. No, you're right. 100%. So
All right,
I'm
but
still
yeah,
in
so you about
Bakole
to mess
mode,
up my
man.
little analysis about that
So I'm still.
quarter two, brother.
You
Don't
know
do
what
me
it
like
is?
that.
I'm still in Bakole mode right now, man. So
Hey.
but yeah, look.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But I still hear your point. I do want to say in a positive note, though, is that his strategies, Miller's strategy was absolutely spot on. I love the way he was going to the body. It was spot on. He was breaking down Andy Ruiz. I just feel like he could have done a little bit more. If he really wanted it like that, he could have did a little bit more.
No, definitely. Obviously, I just wanted to take this opportunity to big up a special guest, of course, Master Knowledge, Spencer Fearon. He's known
We
as
say,
in the UK as well. So
come on. Look, you got 1 minute, no long introductions, because look, Tundi's waiting for me to do our show.
Oh, yes.
But I'm
You know
showing
what?
you lot mad love because you lot are doing your thing, and I know you lock up at 8 and then you always jump on our show. So look, man, I called it where it was. If we're dealing with Gerard Anderson, I phoned Jay Prince. I said to Jay Prince, I didn't like this fight for him at all when I heard the fight was being announced, and then it is what it is. And Mike Bakole he's a problem. That's the bottom line. He's a problem for any heavyweight in the world. Yeah, I mean, we could be if we took George Foreman, we mix it with a bit of Ken Norton, and we mix him with a bit of Ron Lau, and then I think that we get Martin Bakole. And this guy's a problem. I'm telling you that now. But I don't believe that he's 32. He's older than me and Tundi combined. And on that note, gentlemen.
No, big up to you, brother.
On that note, I got to jump. I got to do my show. Yeah, love. Keep up the brilliant work that you're doing. iBoxingHub. Yeah, big up yourself. Love.
Hey, peace, brother. Peace.
God bless you, man. Love. Yeah, obviously that's Master Knowledge. Obviously, big up to him, man. Before we get into a few points, obviously Aisha's in the chat. She obviously spoke to him, and this was actually his thoughts before the actual fight. So,
you know what I mean, Gerard Anderson. I'm gonna be real with you. Gerard Anderson's got his plate full against Martin Bakole. I spoke to his manager yesterday, Jay Prince, and Jay Prince said, "No, we want that fight." I said, "Brother, it's me you're talking to. I know Master Knowledge, but and I'm saying, brother, that's not an easy fight. Martin Bakole, they need to leave that brother alone. That little tough back African, they want to leave him alone. That's being real. He's tough, and he's African."
Yo, says enough.
Yo, and he's African. That's the part that got me.
And he's African, exactly. Obviously, big up to Spencer Fearon, of course, from Fight Is Right. So, guys, he's obviously going to go live on his channel. So make sure you obviously tune in after this show, of course, man. But yeah, lads, let's just get down to business, of course. I don't know if you guys want to quickly brush up on, Pitbull's fight with
I think, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, start us off, the geek.
All right, yeah, my bad, man. I don't know if my connection's on or off sometimes, but I will say that he did end up giving me a little bit of like redemption, because I had called that this was going to be the great fight that it was. I feel like if you were a boxing fan, you absolutely loved what happened within that fight. I think he fought a next to perfect fight against the one-dimensional Pitbull Cruz. Like Gervonta Davis ended up having to tweak his game plan because he hurt his hand and fight ultimately the fight that Rayo actually did. People might say that Gervonta Davis was the prototype for that type of beating Pitbull Cruz. Right now, Rayo is the archetype for beating the come forward style, period. Right? You have to give so much. I mean, he was already good, but I feel like that fine tuning definitely happened with Robert Garcia. You got to shout out their boxing gym. From now on, can't nobody tell me anything about the Garcias when it comes to just boxing knowledge and being legit. They're 100% elite. I love to see that fight. I was listening to people's reactions, and I think there was just so much of a bias for Pitbull Cruz. Anybody who thought that fight was close, I just don't even think it was close. You know what I mean? Like, Pitbull had moments. He didn't have rounds, you know? And so you just, like I said, and also I guess I'm a little bit biased. That style is a little bit more of my style of boxing too. When I'm in the gym, and I just love to see the ability to be able to create create the pace and the distance, and to be able to counterpunch and get out of the way that Rayo was doing it, man. And shout out to the story behind it too. It was very inspirational. You know, the commentators, I think it was Sergio, or was what was his name? The boxer
it was Sergio Mora. Yeah, it was Sergio Mora. Yeah,
Sergio Mora, right? Sergio Mora. He couldn't even talk. He was just like, man, I feel where he's coming from. You know, for your parents to have to do all that sacrifice and for you to and we've seen in history when boxers dedicate their fights to their parents. You know, we have A1 performances like that. So I don't even know Rayo, man, but I'm extremely proud of him, man. So happy for him. It sucks though if he has to fight Tank next because he's gonna get knocked out. But besides that, live on top of the hill for now, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Cuz I don't know if you watched it, but what's your thoughts on Pitbull just losing? Let me just get your thoughts on that anyway, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the entrance, then I conked out. And I woke up on Eminem's performance.
No, that is bad. Look, just pretty much just saying everything that Leak the Geek's saying for us anyway. I think it was a good performance. Shout out to Robert Garcia as well, because he doesn't get enough credit for the world champions that he produces in these camps. So that's another feat there, which I'm sure they're going to be proud of. And like Leak the Geek said, man, you know, the next potential opponent, and you're going to, you know, it might not be great to some, but Tank might look at that and think, yeah.
For sure. Tank sees that and he's going to eat it up. But if I was on the Rayo side, I was managing him and the way that I was getting ready to feed my family was based off of Rayo winning, I would go over the other way and go over to Liam Paro, right? He's supposed to be fighting Kambosos. Whoever wins that, which is obviously for me going to be Liam Paro, I'd go that route, right? I'd fight somebody like him, get some more exposure, and make a whole bunch of money, right? Yeah. There's a lot of other fights that I would do to delay the inevitable because you're at 140, so you don't have to necessarily see Tank Davis, right? You don't have to, you know what I mean? And so I would be doing everything else. I think because he makes, and part of the reason why outside of Tank being a generational talent, I do think that the style matchup is just not in Rayo's favor. So I would go with his new, very much improved because he has power at 140. I would go and fight everybody else at 140.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, and everyone in the chat obviously agrees with you as well. Big up to Jams. Jams is saying facts, of course. FK Breeze is saying Tank fight got that money, of course. Jams is obviously saying Pitbull is very basic, which is fair as well. Cruz is very one-dimensional, and Jams is also saying that Rayo schooled him. Guys, defo win for obviously Jose. And I called it from day dot. Yeah, Jams, we can confirm. Jams was actually pretty good with his prediction in these past few days, so I've got to give him credit for that, man. So big up, man. But
shout out to Jam for that. Jam has been preaching, been preaching that the whole time. I had to shift it over last minute, but Jam was saying it the whole time.
He's been saying it the whole time, so big up to him, of course, man. But lads, obviously, it was the big one, the big main event, of course. Crawford was obviously daring for greatness. And look, it was a pretty difficult one, of course. We got to big up His Excellency as well, Turkey Al-Ashik as well, doing a tremendous job just putting this card together. And Eddie Hearn, you know, in the background, excited because for me, because it's soccer is a sport that I love, of course. But when you kind of bring sports together with boxing, like doing a boxing event at a sports ground, I think it just brings a different environment. And for me, the fight delivered, of course. It was a very, very tough fight. I know a lot of people are going to have their opinions and thoughts, of course. It was very, very close. But look, I had Crawford winning that fight just about. I think that 12th round for me was the nail on the point there for me. Because I actually had them drawing coming up to that 12th round. So he just did just enough as a champion to, get that belt. But guys, let me get your thoughts, man.
Yeah. So with me, bear in mind, this is the first time Crawford's fought at 154. Yeah. And his last fight was at 147. And it was like, a year ago? So there's going to be ring rust there. Do you know what I mean? And, it was a tough challenge. It was very tough. It was very close as well. I do think that 12th round, Crawford just about nicked it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the rounds were longer, it could have went the other way. But big up to Crawford. But people are saying now they don't feel that he's ready for Canelo. I don't think he would ever be ready for Canelo, but if the challenge is there and the money's right, I believe he'll take it. For me personally, I think Crawford should fight Charlo next, right? If he gets through Charlo, then go for Canelo, if he's ready for Canelo.
What are you saying? So what, Jamel at 160 maybe? Because I don't think Jamel is going to fight at 154 anymore. He's moved up
160, 160, because you don't want to, you have to say 160, because you don't want to jump straight at one, from 147 now 154. Like, go to 160 and then gradually 168. Do you know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion, because I think I would love to see Crawford and Canelo. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, the outcome might be different, but hey, who knows? Who knows? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Leap the gate, man. I want to hear your
all right. So,
brother.
Hey, I've been thinking about this long and hard all the night. Okay, and so look, there's a couple things. I don't think still American audiences understand how good Israel Madrimov is. Okay, like y'all don't like. Let me first and foremost start off by giving him credit. Okay, so first and foremost, people, because they don't even haven't seen his fights, they don't know that the style of fight that he just fought was almost completely different than what he usually does. Okay, usually I've always said that Madrimov is you have B-Vol on one side and then you have Triple G on the other side, and he's always leaned a little bit more towards Triple G and coming forward, right, trying to land the overhand right. But I've always thought that he's always in his bag when he starts bouncing and gets to that Eastern European rhythm that B-Vol is a masterclass at, right? And so what did he do to come out? He came out bouncing and giving 10 feints at one time. You have to listen to the interviews and what the fighters are saying. Terrence Crawford said the hardest thing about Israel Madrimov is that he was so goddamn patient. Okay? Yeah. So what does that mean, right? What is, like, again, if people don't actually fight, people don't understand that if Crawford is a counterpuncher who, and again, in the fight was saying that all I'm waiting is for you to mess up. And then what did Madrimov say? Oh, well, then I guess I'm not going to mess up. And then what happened? They're feinting each other, their foot feints, their head feints, all through the thing, and landing pot shots at a time, right? Until, like I was telling Crawford, like he was listening to me. But my key to victory for Crawford was that he needs to come forward. I know that Madrimov is strong, but Madrimov doesn't fight that well off the back foot, so he needs to come forward. That's what we saw happening in the 11th and 12th. That's why he was able to seal the deal. Now, so credit to Israel Madrimov. He was literally the style of, and again, bigger credit to Joel Diaz, who was the trainer of Timothy Bradley when he upset Pacquiao. People don't see, that's what I'm saying. People aren't looking into it enough to know that this was a setup, man. He almost pulled it off. You know, he had all the ingredients to pull it off because that game plan was very good. So now you have Crawford, who was moving up to 154. Well, let me get to the bigger point when we're talking about Crawford versus Canelo. Okay. This is what I needed to be answered, was, can Crawford take the power at 154? That was the first question. The second question was, can Crawford punch hard enough to keep somebody who leans towards a Triple G type of style to force him to fight a different type of fight? Both of those questions are in the affirmative. So while the viewers might have not liked the chess match that we saw, and the viewers might think that, especially the casual viewers that feel like, oh, well, you know, if you don't knock a person out, then, you know, you somehow struggle, which doesn't make any sense, right? I feel like those two questions were answered. So I think that, again, styles make fights. The reason why I feel like Terrence Crawford is very competitive, if not beats Canelo, is not because he's going to knock Canelo out. It's because Canelo has always struggled with counter-punching boxers. He's always struggled with it, right? And so it doesn't, and as Floyd is proved, it doesn't matter if you're really that big. If you can't, which Bebo did to Canelo, if Canelo can't set his feet to load up on those goddamn punches, then he's never going to actually land them, okay? So if Terrence Crawford has enough power to keep Canelo honest, and if Terrence Crawford can take that punch, then he's going to win the fight because it's the style. He's a much better version of Lara or Trout or that Canelo struggled so much with. So I think that's something that people are like so worried about the weight, which again, those will be questions. I won't know if he can take the weight at 168. But just basing this performance off a very game, Israel Madrimov, and saying, oh, well, yeah, Bud is not ready for Canelo, I think people are selling him short a little bit. But yes, I do want to see, my bad, I know I'm really long-winded, but I want to see.
Come on, bro. This is the platform for you.
I do want to see, because I'm a fan of boxing, I do want to see Terrence Crawford versus a Virgil Ortiz. I want to see that fight, right? Because again, that's another hard puncher. And if Terrence Crawford can beat Virgil Ortiz, then I'm willing to put everything I have, the little bit of money I have, I'm willing to put it all on him versus Canelo. I'm willing to put it all, because y'all got to realize that Bud is getting old. But as far as when it comes to so many fights, Canelo is taking a couple steps back too, man. He ain't ready to chase around Bud the whole time. And Canelo makes so many mistakes. If you know boxing, you know Canelo makes so much mistakes because he's just that talented and he hits that hard and he does what he does really well. I'm not saying he's not one dimensional. He's an elite fighter. But when it comes to the small mistakes, Canelo has never been as patient as Madrimov was last night. Yeah, my bad. I've been waiting to get that off my chest for the longest time.
No,
bro. Let me get it off my chest, man.
Bro, no. This is the platform for people like yourself and the community, like everyone that has a voice. This is the platform. We're obviously giving you guys a voice so you could say your piece, of course. Let me run through some of the comments, of course, and thank you everyone for just getting involved in the chat, of course. Raz saying he's not really a fan of the Charlo fight. Especially after Spence, when he was still undisputed at 154. He shot himself and disappeared. Jams is saying Janobek versus Bud at 160 for me would be a test, or Tim Tszyu. Big up to Aisha as well. She's obviously saying Madrimov gave a great performance. I think everyone, including Crawford, was surprised at his patience and not taking Crawford's bait, which is very true. Good analysis, Aisha. Raz obviously saying Madrimov is probably faster than Canelo too, lighter weight, so it does obviously make sense. The constant movement from Madrimov must be exhausting. This is what Green Diamond Boxing is saying, Aisha. And FK Breeze is obviously not a fan of the DAZN commentators. They were actually saying apologies in advance about that. You should have tuned into the watch along. Neutral would have gave you a better commentary. So obviously big up. Raz obviously saying Madrimov probably blitzes Tszyu, Fandora, and Spence. Not Spence for me, bro. Don't do that to Spence. Don't do that to my boy.
Hey, man, I feel like he's right. Madrimov, I feel like he beats all those people.
Oh man, and then Virgil and Madrimov would be like Canelo and Triple G. For quality and excitement. So no, it's a good point. Reckon Madrimov and Canelo are similar sized as well. And last point as well from Ra, big up to you. He's obviously saying Bud ain't got time. Look, he hasn't got time. So look, Canelo, for me, let me just say this point, of course, before obviously pass it on to Biyenge. I think that it would be an interesting proposition, but I kind of want Crawford to stay at 154, collect all the belts, become undisputed, and then that's 3 times undisputed. His legacy is sweet. He can retire now, but if he wanted to kind of solidify his legacy, because I don't think Canelo's going to want to give him that fight. One, because it's I would say it's high risk, low reward, unless Turkey's involved. And would he want to do that as well? This is what I obviously wanted to find out. So I would rather him, stay at 154, grab all the belts, become undisputed, and then just sail off into the sunset and chill, because he's a legend. Regardless of what happens from now until whatever, he's a legend. He can retire now. He's made a lot of money. He's good. So that's my take on Crawford, of course, man. He's just a tremendous fighter.
I think he should fight Canelo. Crawford loves the challenge. He said, look, he's a prize fighter now, and it's all about the money. And could he be the 3rd person in history to beat Canelo?
Yeah, that's after obviously Mayweather and Bivol, of course, man. But could he do it? It just depends, though, cuz man. It just
Do you know what?
depends, man.
Nowadays in boxing, do you know what? Anything is possible now. I just think the problem is, yeah, I think in boxing we just overlook people. It's like, for example, an example I'm going to give you guys is when AJ was supposed to fight Miller, that got cancelled, and then they said the replacement Andrew Ruiz. A lot of people, including myself, was laughing, thinking, "Oh, this is a joke. Who is Andrew Ruiz?" And look what Andrew Ruiz done. He shocked the world. So the way I see it sometimes with boxing, look, anything's possible. It just comes down to who really wants it that night.
It's true, and it
Hey,
also goes
big
down
up to that point, brother. Big up to that point. That point is like you somehow you still understate that point, brother. Like what Turkey is showing is that all of our braining around and being all like, this is what we think happened based off what we saw, really doesn't mean anything until we actually see these fighters in there with more competition, man. Because we're not there when either the young stud or the old veterans really putting in that work, you know. And the biggest issue is that styles make the fight. Like that's just what it comes down to. Sometimes there are like, and we don't have to start about this, but if you take that 135 to 140, you take Teofimo, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Tank, right? If you ask me, I think that all of them beat each other all in different ways because of the styles, right? Like, and that's what it comes, that's what it comes down. So you have to see it. I don't think it's like, oh, well, I'm just a huge Tank fan, and maybe Tank is overall the more talented person, but if you put him against somebody who's rangy and can box like Devin Haney, it might be different. But then versus somebody like Shakur Stevenson, who, in my opinion, has a hard time he doesn't want to get hit, that might be easier for him, right? I think somebody like Teofimo beats Shakur Stevenson because he leads with his right hand and knows how to establish his power and dictate the fight. But then at the same time, I think that Devin Haney, you know what I mean? Like it goes all these different ways. And at the end of the day, we can theorize as much as we want to, but unless we see them in the ring, you really don't know.
Yeah, no, big up to you. Let me throw a quick curveball. I know we're kind of going over time, and we had to do it for the people. Obviously, big up to the people, and thank you everyone that's tuned in. You mentioned the takeover. You mentioned Teofimo. You've seen Teofimo's kind of game plan in boxing. He likes to kind of take the biggest name in each division. So you saw Lomachenko in the lightweights, and then you saw him do the same to Josh Taylor at 140. Look, there was talks that he could potentially want to go up to 154 to fight Crawford. Obviously, let me just get your thoughts on that. I know it's a bit of a rumor, but how would that kind of pan out? And do you think that could potentially happen? Would they entertain it?
Is it for me or for my brother?
Yeah, go ahead, Leak the Gate. You start us off.
So I want to say that yes, Teofimo is one of those fighters that always fights to the level of his opponent. He's also a fighter that can sometimes can be having like he can throw himself off his game plan. But as far as what he's been doing, he's been very successful at it, and I commend him for it. I think what he's trying to do is try to wait out Bud to see if he can find when he starts to slip up and potentially fight him. I don't think that fight will ever be able to happen because Bud is not even going down to fight Boots. He's not going to go down to fight Teofimo. So that's just not a thing. But Teofimo's strategy outside of the ring it makes a lot of sense. My bad, you guys. I got the
don't worry, man. No, it's all good energy.
But yeah, so I do think that his strategy outside the ring makes a lot of sense. But I think that, because he's trying to get the most bang for his buck, and it makes sense. But one, Terrence Crawford would really dominate Teofimo, and the other thing is it just doesn't make. I don't think it's going to make sense to the people that actually matter, which is Terrence Crawford and Turkey and Big Turkey. They're not going to want to set that up.
All right, that's fair, man. That's fair. Cuz, what's your thoughts on Teofimo Crawford? Do you think that could happen at 154, or is that just Teofimo just kind of throwing the bait and trying to make something happen?
Do you know what? If there was no fights for Crawford, no more big money fights, then he could potentially entertain Teofimo. Lopez, rather than going down to 147 to fight the current IBF champion, I've forgotten his name now, Boots Ennis.
Yep.
So at this present moment, I don't think he really. Huh?
I think the IBF champion for 147, isn't it? Is it William Skull or is it
Boots Ennis?
Oh, it's Boots. Boots is the IBF.
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
He's the IBF champion. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't I just want to see look, and if they were to present this opportunity to Canelo and say, who do you want to fight? Do you want to fight Benavidez or Crawford? I think he'll go to Crawford. I think he'll fight Crawford because Benavidez might potentially give him problems, so he'll go to Crawford. So I just want to see the big fights. Like, I don't mind, but the outcome, I mean, Crawford's still got it in him, man. He's still got it in him. You know, he's still got it in him. He's pound for pound. You know, we have to put some respect on Crawford's name. You know, it's the Crawford era now. It's the Terrence Crawford era.
It is. It's up there with. Sorry, I have to put my guy there, man, because he is my guy, Alexander Usyk. He has to be up there. If we're going to talk about pound for pound greats, he's definitely up there because the heavyweight division's kind of the golden division of boxing, let's say, and it's the division everyone always has their eyes on. But Crawford, you know, the way he became champion, you know, yesterday in a very, very, very tough fight as well. You got to give him credit. And to those people that were kind of saying, it's a robbery. No, look, he did enough to get the victory on the night. And we just got to give this man props and credit. And
no, for sure.
Madrimov as well, man. He put on a tremendous performance. And look, sure, it should be a good future for him as well. I don't think it's the end.
Can I say one thing to that?
Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it now on record.
Let's have it.
It's a little bit of outlandish. So I do think that Usyk deserves to be lauded for going into the heavyweight division because that is a tremendously great thing to be able to do. Right? You haven't seen it again since all the way back in Evander Holyfield, who went from cruiserweight and went up. So he deserves that spot, the number 1, number 2, or whatever spot. But I will say, because I'm big into styles, that Martin Bakole would give Usyk problems.
Woohoo! Yes, Mr. Congo.
Problems. He would give him absolute problems. Like if Usyk couldn't figure it out, because I think the idea of the movement, no. Can you take the fucking punch? He would give him problems, and I'm of the belief still that Dubois dropped him, and that was a real drop. But hey, that's another conversation. So if you got a guy if you got a guy that's weak to the body, that can get hit, I don't know, man. So that stylistic matchup is gonna either go Usyk dominating or Bakole dominating. There's no in between.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, Bakole, I would love him to do it. If I'm honest with you, I would love him to be champion.
Sorry to cut there, because I know you're about to go. But if Fury doesn't beat Usyk in the rematch and Bakole beats Usyk, oh my God. He's made history. He'll be the first Congolese world champion of the world. Wow. Just wow.
Wouldn't he be the first African
That's what I'm saying.
World champion, period?
That's
a question.
Good question.
Indeed, yeah. That's a good question indeed. Yeah.
For heavyweight, right? For heavyweight, he'd be the first heavyweight world champion. Yeah. With all the but and quickly, and I know we're going too long, but I just want to hear you guys' opinions. Who do you guys think wins that Fury Usyk rematch, man? I think it's a good fight.
He's throwing us deep in. I'm gonna go straight in.
Right. For me, I want Fury to win. Reasons is because I want to see Fury and AJ. So if AJ was to beat Triple D and wins the belt, and Fury beats Usyk and wins the belt, we get to see another unification clash. That's my only reason.
Yeah, and me, I said it before. I've said it, on a number of shows that we've done on here. Usyk will get the job done. He will be undefeated before he retires. and I think this will be his last fight at heavyweight. He's either gonna go back down, or he's gonna run away from the sport and just focus on, you know, building the businesses and the projects that he's got on the side, because he has nothing. He's got nothing left to prove. Because if you kind of think of Evander Holyfield and what he's achieved in boxing, and you look at Usyk, he's the modern day Evander Holyfield. You know, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. He's done it in the full belt era. So yeah, he has nothing else to prove, man. So after Fury, me as a fan, I would want him to just, you know, sail over to the sunset, chill, relax, let the belts go out, so that you got the likes of Bakole. You know, he's got a chance to be a champion, and I would love that for Congo, man.
No, for sure. I 100% agree. I think that Tyson Fury has everything it takes to beat Usyk, but I don't think Tyson Fury is in the mode and is motivated enough to really dig down enough, and that's why I feel like we saw in the fight. And I think that Usyk is just such a monster, and I think that he will end up prevailing. Once somebody shows me something, then I have to just go with it. And so Usyk beat Fury not because of the skill set, but because of his heart and sticking to the game plan and how stubborn he was. I mean, so that's just being mentally strong. And I think he is just that much mentally stronger than Tyson Fury, so he continues. And I think that your idea of like sailing off into the sunset makes a lot of sense. And I'm 100% for that, because like I just said, I want fighters to be able to get out with their faculties. But
yeah. Oh, what's the but? Go for it. Go for it.
A strong but.
This is the fun bit. I know. Go for it.
check me out, though. Check me out, because all I do is think about boxing, y'all. That's all I know. So check me out. If he decided, right, to go down, and all the people we're talking about at 175, Bivol, Better Beef, Morale, and David Benavidez, if we were able to figure out who was really the legit person at that weight, and the person that beat everybody there, and then they meet Usyk at cruiser, I'd love to see it.
Oh, he's throwing out.
I'd love to see it.
You know the history between Berto BF and Usyk.
Like if Bivol beats Better Beef, then guess what? Bivol can beat Usyk. I said it. I don't care what you guys are talking about. I said it.
Oh, he's throwing a bit of spice. He's throwing a bit of spice.
I know. I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, look, if Better Beef is the hardest puncher that we've seen in a very, very long time, right? And if he can figure out how to neutralize that power and survive that power, which again is 50-50 fight, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe David Benavidez ends up being the best person, right? Because keep in mind, David Benavidez is walking around at 225. Okay.
Yeah, true.
So it's not like David Benavidez is too small. But let's just say, for example, if David Benavidez can beat Bivol, he can beat Better Beef, and he ends up just being the one that outclasses everybody, whoever that winner is goes up to cruiser and meets Usyk coming down, I'm ready to see it. That's my boxing fantasy.
Throwing a bit of spices out there. Now, big up to you, Leak the Geek, man. You, like, your boxing mind is truly tremendous, and it's always a pleasure having you on. And you're always welcome to come on and just speak your piece about boxing, of course. Cuz before we wrap up, of course, Ra has a question for us. He's obviously saying about Congo. Can Kinshasa host a major event? Yes, we can. 100%. We can do Rumble in the Jungle too. And the fact that, you know, we've got a new, you know, no, he's not really a new man. He's been about for a minute. He's been doing his thing. But I'm just happy now he's getting his flowers. He's getting his recognition. And last night, for me, he stole the show. I don't know about you guys, but in terms of taking out an opponent, which I'm not even going to lie, the bookies here in the UK had Anderson as the favorite. So in my mind, I'm thinking the disrespect for Bakole is absolutely crazy. But hey, there's always winners and losers in betting, of course, man. But no, big up to you both, of course. It was a tremendous show. Leak the Geek.
Thank you for having me, and Biyenge, brother. It was nice meeting you, brother.
You too, man.
It was blessings. Leak the Geek. Could you let people know how they obviously can follow you, my brother?
They can follow me by following you, because wherever you guys go is where I'm going to be at, following the boxing. But I'm at Leak the Geek on Twitter. And I'm, like I said, I'm just a normal guy, man. I'm on the north side of Chicago. I'm over at Trenches Boxing, man. If y'all are ever out here, you guys are welcome for a free to be able to come and just check out the facility, get some sparring rounds in, man. You can't be a boxing fan unless you get a couple rounds in, man. You know what I mean?
100%. Now I agree with you, brother, man. Now, big up to you. Thank you so much for just joining us on the show as well. Loving the energy, loving the vibes from wherever you are as well in Detroit. So loving that energy, because obviously this is coming up to the end of the show, of course. I'm going to hand it over to yourself, but yeah, bless the people, man.
Yeah, man. Look, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. Look, have a lovely, productive week. We're back here again on Wednesday. Peace and love.
Peace and love. And actually, before we go, we got to play it one more time. Big up to D-Rock, our sponsors. Show some love and take advantage of the discount code. Yes, and big up to the people, big up to the community. Let's wrap up and sign out, man. So love, man. It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my